see everyone and have everyone here. This morning we have about a half a dozen speakers lined up. We're going to hear from Pierce College, the Community Education Building, City of Wilmington, the founder and CEO of Year Up, as well as a student from our inaugural cohort here in Wilmington. Our first speaker, Jim Murgiotti, president of Pierce College. He's a great partner to Year Up. Please join me in welcoming my friend and business partner, Jim Murgiotti.
Good morning. You got to do better than that. Gerald's here. Good morning.
Good morning.
How was that, Gerald? You do okay? Fantastic. It's great to welcome you here on a historic day, a really historic day. We are so proud, we at Pierce College are so proud to be part of the Year Up Wilmington launch and to be part of this fantastic program. We've been partnering with Year Up since 2013. And as I tell the students whenever I meet with them, it was really easy to partner with Year Up because there was such compatibility with our missions that go all the way back to the two founders. So in 1865, there was a young social entrepreneur named Thomas May Pierce who really saw some opportunity in the marketplace. Thomas May Pierce saw in the post-Civil War industrial expansion that there were businesses that were starting to develop and needed to grow, and they didn't have workforce, they didn't have the labor that they needed to develop and grow. And he also saw a population of people where only 1% of the people had access to the education that they needed to be successful in those business enterprises. And he and his partners got together in 1865 and said, we need to do something that serves those 99% that don't have access. And he founded Pierce College, and here we are almost 152 years later. And then there was a young social entrepreneur about 140 years later, in 2000, who actually saw the same opportunity in the proliferation of technology and in the technology age. He saw that same exact gap that Thomas May Pierce saw in 1865, just at a different place in time. And he founded Year Up in Boston in 2000 and came to us, fortunately came to us in 2013 and said to us, Pierce College, we'd like to bring this program to Philadelphia. And we did that. We did that with Year Up in 2013. And I'm proud to say that we've graduated 7 cohorts already from that program. We have our 8th cohort in process right now. We just had over 50 starts in Philadelphia. So combined with Wilmington, we've started 85 students. We're actually serving over 100 students right now because we also have students that are currently in the internship program. And we want to grow that to not just 100 students, but hundreds of students that we serve in the Philadelphia and the Wilmington location in these 2 sites, where today we have 3 learning communities progressing simultaneously, and we hope to grow that to even more than 3 learning communities in parallel. What makes Year Up work, what makes the Year Up partnership work for us is it's a holistic approach. The students get personal and professional development from Year Up. They get the academic classroom experience from us at Pierce, as well as the academic supports, and they get that great experiential opportunity through the corporate partners, the employer partners, in the internship process. And you know, in Wilmington, we actually needed a 4th partner, and because we didn't have a place. In Philadelphia, we had a place which was, you know, the great Pierce College building at Broad and Pine Streets. For those of you who have never been there, come visit us sometime. But we needed a place, and we were just so blessed to find this great building, this community education building here in Wilmington. And we thank Vito Cimenti from the Pierce staff who really did the research and the analysis and helped us locate this building. Joe and I lost a little bit of sleep over this, to tell you the truth, but we always knew we had an ace in the hole, which was Vito. And Vito was able to help us find this great property and this wonderful site, and a great partner with Linda Jennings and her team. So we're so proud to be here, Linda. And I understand that today a student can actually come here and start at kindergarten and go all the way through now to a college degree. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So just to be clear, regarding Pierce's situation here, we're not only teaching in the year up year, but we will have associate degrees and bachelor's degree offerings here, right in this site, right in the community education building here in Wilmington, where we hope that our great year up students will continue to progress and get their degrees even beyond their year up year. So it's a fantastic opportunity for everybody. So I want to get the program to move along today because we have a really exciting program ahead of us. And you will hear from the founder of Year Up, from Gerald, as part of the program. So you'll find Thomas May Pierce's counterpart from 2000 today. But I want to move on to our fantastic partner, Linda Jennings. So Linda, please come forward.
Welcome to Wilmington. I get the great pleasure of welcoming Pierce College and Year Up to Wilmington. Mayor Przicki, nice to have you back. Year Up, Pierce College board members, Year Up staff members, students, distinguished guests, thank you for being here today. I'd like to especially acknowledge and thank the board members of the CEB, a few of whom are here this morning, Thayer DuPont, Bill Manning, and Eli Sharp. Under the leadership of the CEB Board of Directors and the help of many generous donors, including Bank of America and the Longwood Foundation, CEB opened its doors just 3 years ago with the vision to transform urban public education in the city of Wilmington and beyond. Through a collaborative shared services model, we work with our partner schools to make sure that every student has whatever he or she needs to excel in school. We do this first by providing an awesome place to go to school, but we also provide a broad array of integrated student supports, which include a professionally staffed library, behavior and social health care, of operating food pantry, translation services, referrals to families who need other social services, and laundry service. By and through many dedicated partners, collaborating with many dedicated partners, we aim to close the achievement gap here in Wilmington and to prepare our students to live and succeed in a global community. And today, we are here to extend our membership to the Wilmington community, to Pierce College and the Year Up program. We at CEB are thrilled to partner with Pierce and Year Up. It's an excellent transition opportunity for students graduating from our K-12 system who are not quite ready or have not committed to a four-year program or who desire to directly enter the workforce. You've heard some about Year Up. You'll hear a lot more about Year Up, but I first want to take this opportunity to formally welcome Year Up and congratulate them on just such an astounding immediate success for the launch of Year Up Wilmington. And just on a side note, some of the intangible benefits are K-12, or right now we only have K-8 students, our K-8 students see the Year Up students dressed professionally, acting well, greeting each other. It's been a great role model. I've heard many students comment. At first it was, who are those big people in our building? And now it's like, wow, that's really great. And I expect that to even transition further into, I want to be like them. So that has been a great intangible benefit. It is my great honor now to introduce the City of Wilmington's 56th mayor, Mike Przicki. It's fitting that Mr. Przicki is here to help us welcome Pierce College and to celebrate the launch of Year Up Wilmington. A graduate of Delaware Law School, Mr. Przicki, Mayor Przicki has been in public service since 1982 when he was elected to the Newcastle County Council. Throughout his career, his honor has spent a good deal of time thinking about and acting upon ways to prepare our youth to become successful adults. Most recently, as chairman of the Wilmington Hope Commission, the mayor wrestled with the burdens placed on that transition by incarceration. Because Year Up seeks to prepare young adults to be successful and contributing members to the Wilmington community, we are particularly pleased to have the mayor's support and participation in today's ceremony. So please join me in welcoming Mayor Przicki.
Thank you, Linda. I'm especially happy to be up here so the sun is in your eyes and not mine. The great disservice we do to the kids who matriculate in this building is that they think that all the buildings that they're going to be in for the rest of their lives are going to look like this place. And those of you who are not from Wilmington don't know the great legacy of MBNA's Charlie Cawley, who left such an imprint on our city. And it's a pleasure to come back into these buildings and be reminded of really a great productive contributor to our city. I want to welcome Pierce College, and I certainly want to welcome Europe, Joe, for the great work you're doing, not just for the objectives, which is noble, but for the efficacy of your programming, which is not something we can take for granted. You know, when you're mayor, you're constantly being contacted by people who have programs. And the problem with programs is most of them, or many of them, I'm sorry to say most of them, really don't deliver. And so when you find people who really understand measurable outcomes and understand what it takes to get to the finish line, it's a source of it's certainly rewarding. All you've got to do to feel good about the program is meet some of the young people in the program today. And so when I was talking to some of the students, the first thing you're thinking of is that, boy, these kids are going to be uncomfortable talking to a mayor. Well, I thought I was getting interviewed. I mean, you got a strut in their step already. You got the confident handshake, look me in the eyes, and ask me 10 hard questions. So let me just say briefly, you know, I break down my job description into 3 parts. It's my budget, my operations, and poverty. And you know something, budget and operations, as challenging as they are for people who've spent their lives in business, somehow I know I'll work that out. We'll get through that, I'm positive. There's no question in my mind, we'll work through it. Poverty's another issue. And I must tell you, if there's anything that keeps me awake at night, it's just dealing with some of our most broken communities and trying to find solutions that work. Remember, we're back to this what works challenge. And I think when I listen to the folks at Europe and I listen to their pragmatic approach, I realize that they at least understand the problem well enough so that they're going to forge solutions that are correct. We have too many people that aren't willing to sit and look squarely at the problem in the eye and say, here's what our problem is. And so if I define myself in any way, it's as a problem solver. And I deal with what is the city's problem, it's America's problem. I mean, we have to face up to what has happened in so many of our cities and so many of our neighborhoods, which are alienated, isolated, detached entirely from all of the normative behaviors that people just take for granted exist in their frankly cosseted lives. So I welcome you as a member of the team that we are going to put together to uplift our city. I am optimistic. I still have enough energy. I know I look much younger, but I'm in my 8th decade. And at 71 years old, I'm not 80. But, and I like to say I've got the enthusiasm of an 18-year-old, but I also recognize that I need more sleep than I used to need. So welcome to all of you. Thank you so very much for trusting in us, and we're going to return that favor. Thank you, Joe. And
So thanks again, Mike, and I agree with you. Being up here with the sun at your back is so much better. One of the things I think that really separates Year Up from many other programs is having jobs. We have jobs, we call them internships, that will lead to jobs right at the very beginning of our program. And that, I think, is what is really a key part to our success. Without those jobs at the end of our learning and development phase, I don't think our program would be as successful. To that end, I'd like to welcome J.P. Morgan Chase, without whose partnership our site in Wilmington would not be possible, and invite Courtney to come up and speak for a minute on behalf of J.P. Morgan Chase. Thank you.
Okay, this is a lot better up here, so we can see. By the way, and there, a copy of my speech is actually a lot better. It's much bigger font, because I'm not in my 8th decade, but getting there. So thank you very much for having us here today. I am Courtney Smith-Goodrich. I am the Chief Technology Strategy and Programs Officer at JPMorgan Chase, and we are really proud to be standing up here and opening the Delaware version of Year Up. We've been working with Year Up for several years. We've actually employed hundreds of the Year Up interns across many of our sites at JPMorgan Chase, but we are certainly very proud to be here in Delaware, where we have a firm commitment to the state of Delaware and employing the great citizens of Delaware as well. We are on a mission to bring the very best people into our firm, and we are finding that talent with these Year Up interns. They are having tremendous success in our firm. Many of them are actually here today, so I encourage you to meet them during the networking session. In Delaware, we employ about 10,000 people, and we are the founding launch partner of Year Up Delaware, and we're very proud of that. For years, we'd actually been employing Year Up interns in Delaware from Philadelphia. And we decided, frankly, that wasn't good enough. We wanted to make sure we provided opportunities to the citizens of Delaware to make sure that our young urban youth actually had those same opportunities to learn and grow and pursue careers. So we partnered with Year Up and a number of folks in this room to make sure this site can help open. This program works because it is business-led, it makes business sense, and is actually part of our core values of a firm in terms of hiring the best talent and also giving back to the communities. Many of the folks and many of the companies that partner with Year Up across the country do a number of things, not just providing job opportunities, but they also serve as one-on-one mentors to Year Up interns. They participate in weekly speaker series, and they help with mock interview sessions. I encourage all of you here, if you're not actively involved, to make sure you do get actively involved and help all young adults make sure no matter where they come from, they have a journey to a productive and joyful life. I'm going to close and tell you a little bit of a story that actually is how we really partner with Year Up and provide these opportunities, but also shows one way that we bring the program to life in JPMorgan Chase. So in early 2014, we hosted our first 5 Year Up interns in our Delaware office. And one of the things we do when we bring interns in is we say, look, you're part of the JPMorgan Chase team, and we treat them very much like our employees. So we invite them, one of the things we do is we invite them to our town halls. So if you haven't been to a JPMorgan Chase town hall, it's a little bit daunting. There's literally hundreds, if not thousands, of folks in the room, and they're being presented by senior executives. At the end of each town hall, we provide an opportunity for folks to ask questions and answers. As somebody who speaks a lot at town halls, with that Q&A session is a little bit worrisome, because you wonder, one, if there's crickets in the room and nobody will have a question, or more importantly, you wonder if you'll get the question that's really hard to answer. But one of the things that you don't expect is that the first person who comes up to the microphone is a Year Up intern, a person who frankly had a very thoughtful and challenging question, and also someone who really, quite frankly, had the guts to go up to a microphone in front of thousands of people that he didn't know and ask that question. And that's the type of character and that's the type of initiative and bravery that we're looking for at JPMorgan Chase. That person was Andre Brown. And Andre has now since gone on to finish his undergraduate degree. He went through our Tech Connect program that really helps reskill people into technologists. He's also now been accepted into JPMorgan Chase's full-time technology analyst program that is geared towards IT professionals. And to really further recognize Andre's bravery, frankly, we've now created the Andre Brown Award so that each cohort of Year Up interns that comes through, one of them gets the Andre Brown Award when they demonstrate that they have that same tenacity to make sure they're taking advantage of the opportunity provided by Year Up, as well as employers like JPMorgan Chase. I'll close in saying there is great talent here in the state of Delaware, talent that is hungry for the challenge and opportunity to succeed. And we are thrilled that so many of you are helping us partner to make the community better and frankly make businesses better as well. Thank you very much.
At this time, Gerald, we'd like to invite you to come up to the podium and say a few words. Yep.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you very much for allowing me to speak before our student. I appreciate that. I've learned after 17 years, do not speak after a student in this place. This is an auspicious day, isn't it? Think about all the things that are going right. Right? We heard from our mayor, and thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. for focusing as you did on what keeps you up at night, and how inspiring is it to have an individual say, what I'm thinking about is how to give people the opportunities they need, right, to lift themselves out of poverty. And that to me is inspiring. Thank you for serving our community and welcoming us to this fine city. Thank you. You think what else is going right? You talked about collaboration, Linda, and collective impact, right? We have the president of an incredible college, Jim, you're the best partner. Jim's saying is let's find a way to get to yes, right? He understands partnership. Linda, to be in a building like this, where education's coming together for those who need it most, when you talked about the wraparound services of health, of everything from laundry, think how thoughtful that is. Right? This is how we help communities. And then you bring a partner like JP Morgan Chase, Courtney, who's had more than 1,000 interns. 1,000 interns, hundreds and hundreds of young adults who came from some of the most challenging zip codes in this country, who now are working at one of the greatest financial institutions in this world. Not because they were given a handout. Our students have never needed a handout. They need a hand up, an opportunity to realize their God-given potential. And when you bring things together, right? A corporate partner who's thoughtful and will look at talent differently. A community education organization that to me is brilliant and beautiful how you've structured this. A partner in Pierce. A mayor who absolutely gets it, and let me tell you, it matters a great deal in our society, our elected officials. And that, my friends, is how you fix what's wrong in this country, is by using what's right in this country. And what's right in this country, actually, you just got a chance to hear from. Because our students have always had the talent. Right? Talent is distributed evenly in America. Opportunity is not. Right? Talent is distributed evenly. And the fact is our students always had that talent. How many of you were greeted by them when you walked in this morning and said, wow, what a fantastic young woman or man. You must work already. No, I'm a student still. Wow. Right? They had the talent. They didn't have the access. They didn't have the opportunity. And our employers need talent. Where Europe is done, we started with a humble 22 young adults. We've now served 16,000 young adults in 19 cities across America. Not because we're that special, although Joe, you and your team are fantastic. But let me tell you, none of us are that special. What are special are our young people who are the talent this country needs, and what's special is corporations who say, we're going to look a little differently at who's talented in America and where talent resides in this country. And you bring supply and demand together, and let me tell you, that's how communities become strong. That's how they thrive, right? Our young adults, you will be the role models for the next generation who will say, I want to look like Carlos, right? That's where I want to be when I grow up. That's how you lift community. And so what you're doing here, to me, is inspiring. I look also I'm very grateful for the support we've gotten from Longwood, philanthropic partners. This doesn't happen without capital as well. To get something started, thank you so much for that. It's deeply inspiring. Because let me tell you, folks, this is our watch, right? Many of us in the room probably have children. And we have a watch, maybe 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, but we do have a watch. And on that watch, we will work hard to pass something on to that next generation. And we ask ourselves, what are we passing on? Is it better? Can I look my child in the eye and say, we're working as hard as we can to pass on a better society, community, opportunity to that next generation? And when I look around this room, I can rest tonight and say, here in Wilmington, we are doing that. We're doing it well, we're doing it thoughtfully, we're doing it with love and rigor, right? Those two words both matter and they work together, they're not dissonant. Loving rigor. Hold our students accountable and love them to death, right? That's what we do. We love you and we hold you accountable as young people. That's what you deserve as young people. So I want to say thank you so much for welcoming us to Wilmington. We aspire to grow. We always want to be part of this community and hopefully a very thoughtful, generous, spirited part of the Wilmington community. We look forward to a day when there are thousands and thousands of graduates from this program that will actually inspire, support that next generation. And we'll look back and we said, we did our part on our watch, folks. That's what's happening here today. It's special. You should all be complimented and rewarded for what you're doing. I'm certainly grateful to be on this journey with you, and thank you so very much. Appreciate it.
So next, I just want to talk to you for a second. Many of you know our first cohort in Wilmington started, I think it was February 7th. And since that time, our students have come together as a community. As Gerald said, you know, when you talk about love, it's something that a lot of people don't use those words in business today, but our learning community is a community of love. We get to know each other, and we really, really support each other. One of the students, and it could be any student, but one student that is pretty amazing in demonstrating our core values, living what it means to be Europe, is Carlos. I'd like to say that I consider Carlos a friend. We've gotten to know each other pretty well. I'm sure there were days when we talked about infractions that you weren't too happy with me, right? But that's what it's all about, right? It's like Gerald said, right? This is not in any way a handout. It's a hand up, it's accountability, and it's treating people like people. So Carlos, I'd like to ask you to come up and say a few words for us.
Good morning, and welcome to this exciting day. My name is Carlos Dwayne Cannon Jr., and I'm a student in Europe's inaugural cohort, and we are named Diversity Team, and I'm honored to be a guest speaker this morning. I was born in Guam, but I was raised in Newcastle, Delaware. My mother was a single parent, and she did everything in her power to make sure that me and my younger brother was well taken care of. However, for me, it was hard. As a kid, I got into a lot of fights. I had anger towards my father for leaving us at an early age and not being home. The smallest thing would set me off. And for years, my mom would ask me, Carlos, what's wrong? Carlos, why are you always fighting? I could never tell her the real reason why I was always fighting. Only thing I could tell her was that a boy in this world, it is very important to have a male figure in his life because there's only so much a mother can do and teach her son. So the fighting continued, and as I got older, I saw that my anger was hurting my mother. In that moment, I decided to make a change for my life. I started working at the Boys and Girls Club, mentoring the youth, and coaching Little League basketball in my free time. I also started helping my mom pay the bills, and in that moment, I see my life getting much better. My story before Europe is very dear to me. My story is the reason why I stand in front of you guys this morning and to celebrate this wonderful day. To me, Europe Wilmington is a great start. It's a new start for the state of Delaware, but most importantly, it's a great start for the city of Wilmington. Many people think that Wilmington is a bad and terrible place. Does this look like a bad and terrible place to you guys? No, that's because they are not from here or because they only hear bad things about the city of Wilmington. The city of Wilmington has a lot of wonderful and talented young adults that are doing something for themselves. Actually, some of my colleagues are in this room this morning. And yet, people are afraid to come and take the time to see that. That is why I want to sincerely thank each and every one of you for coming here today and celebrating our new site. Thank you for supporting the young adults in our city of Wilmington. We are ready. We are ready to prove everybody wrong who told us that we weren't going to make it in life. Thank you for supporting Year of Wilmington, who is giving young adults like us the opportunity to show that we're talented and not worthless. Year of Wilmington is going to change the lives of a lot of young adults. It's going to give an opportunity to young adults in the state of Delaware that most people dream about. Europe is already helping me achieve my dreams. I will be successful in marketing and business, and now I'm on the path of having a well-paying job so that I can take care of my mother like she took care of me and my younger brother. Thank you for believing in me, my cohort members, and the dreams of all the future Year of Wilmington graduates and students. Thank you.
So thank you, Carlos. I too believe that Year Up will have an incredible impact on the city of Wilmington. I also know it would not be possible without the support of so many, and it's really humbling to see everybody that came together in support of what we're doing today. Thayer DuPont and Longwood, thank you for your financial support and belief in our mission. Courtney and Ann and the entire JP Morgan Chase team, thank you so much for your support and belief in the talent that Year Up provides. And many of our community partners that are here today, I want to thank you as well, because when I think about how important it is for young adults to understand about Year Up, it's our community partners that help deliver that message. One of the things I hear constantly from students, from the young adults, either during the admission process or once they get started, is Year Up's too good to be true. I hear it all the time. Students will say things to me like, do you think I was born yesterday? You're telling me I'm gonna earn a stipend, so you're gonna pay me to go to college. If I do well, I'm gonna earn an internship, right? You're gonna increase my stipend when I'm on my internship. If I do my job there, I could potentially get converted. I'm gonna to a full-time hire. I'm gonna earn college credits. I don't have to take out student loans. There's no way. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. It's too good to be true. I hear it all the time. And our community partners, they can help us communicate the message that it's not too good to be true, that Year Up is really an opportunity. It's an opportunity to close the opportunity to divide and to do something that we haven't done. There's many ways for people to be involved. We need all sorts of support. When I look across the room, I see so many familiar faces and people that have helped us come to this community and welcome us with this community. We need your help. We need our community partners to introduce us to additional community partners. We need our corporate partners to introduce us to other corporate partners that are hiring and will take interns. From a financial perspective, as Gerald said, we do need capital to grow. It's kind of key to our success. So introductions to foundations and or individuals that can help us there. We have a table, I'm not sure where it is, somewhere. I think Anand's at a table in the back that has more information and many ways that you can be involved and support what we're doing as we grow and serve the young adults of Wilmington. We also have students from Cohort 1 that are available if anybody's interested in a tour. They can help you with the tour. Jillian, Deborah, Charles are around to help with the tour. So when I think about it, I think about closing the opportunity to divide, and I know it's not too good to be true, and with all of your help, we can make it true and a reality for so many young adults. So thank you very much. I'd like to ask Carlos, the mayor, Gerald, Courtney, Linda, Jim, Thayer, if you could come up and join us as well. And we have the scissors.